Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, January 15, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more.
Mexico is providing financial incentives to remove firearms from circulation, offering $1,200 for an AK-47 rifle and $1,300 for a machine gun. Venezuelan President Maduro has stated that he is collaborating with Cuba and Nicaragua to be ready to take up arms should there be an intervention, prompting Puerto Rico to seek assistance from Trump following Maduro's threat of invasion. The FBI has successfully removed Chinese PlugX malware from numerous Windows computers across the United States. Gallup reports a decline in approval of U.S. leadership among NATO members, despite an improvement in the U.S. image under Biden. Biden reveals that the upcoming aircraft carriers will be named Clinton and Bush. U.S. House Republicans are looking for backing on a bill regarding a potential purchase of Greenland as part of Trump's plan. Researchers have made Sky T1, a reasoning AI model, available for free, allowing it to be trained for under $450. Mastodon is moving to a nonprofit organization. OpenAI's AI reasoning model occasionally operates in Chinese, and the reason for this is unclear.
Hamas has approved a draft agreement for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of certain hostages, according to officials. Sources indicate that Israel and Hamas have reached an agreement in principle regarding the ceasefire and hostage exchange. Recently, Turkey's intelligence chief and Hamas officials have been discussing efforts for a Gaza ceasefire, as reported by a Turkish source. In the first phase of the emerging Israel-Hamas deal, 33 hostages are expected to be released, and Palestinians will be allowed to return to North Gaza. A Palestinian official informed the BBC, as the Gaza ceasefire agreement is being finalized. Oscar nominations postponed due to wildfires, while Grammys and Sundance proceed as planned. Saudi Arabia reportedly close to a $1 billion investment in DAZN. Ms. Rachel to make her Netflix debut with 4 episodes available for streaming in January. J&J plans to acquire Intracellular, a developer of psychiatric drugs, for a total of $14.6 billion. Eli Lilly's CEO anticipates that their new weight loss pill will receive approval in the coming year. According to a study, it is projected that 1 million adults in the United States will be diagnosed with dementia annually by the year 2060.
Mantra and Damic agree to a $1 billion deal to digitize Middle Eastern assets. The SEC accuses Robinhood of securities violations, resulting in a $45 million penalty for the brokerage. U.S. judges urge the SEC to clarify its reasons for denying requests to establish cryptocurrency regulations.
The Biden administration has introduced rules to oversee the global expansion of artificial intelligence. Additionally, Biden has announced the final set of AI chip export restrictions targeting China and Russia. For days prior, NVIDIA expressed disapproval of the reported Biden plan for AI chip export curbs. As part of Biden's comprehensive new AI export controls, most of the world is now covered. NVIDIA criticized Biden's new AI restrictions as misguided and commended Trump's laissez-faire approach to the tech industry. Meanwhile, OpenAI has unveiled its favored version of AI regulation in a new blueprint. Judge authorizes the release of Special Counsel Smith's report on Trump's 2020 election case. Trump raises the U.S. flag to full height before concluding the 30-day mourning period after Carter's passing. Carrie Underwood is scheduled to perform at Trump's inauguration. Zuckerberg debuts real mark in push to woo Trump. Kalsher names Donald Trump Jr. as strategic advisor to prediction market firm. OpenAI courts Trump with vision for AI in America.
Chipmakers have reduced their investment plans by $9.5 billion due to the decline in smartphone and electric vehicle markets. In Northern Ireland and Britain, artificial intelligence will be subject to distinct regulatory frameworks. DJI has decided to discontinue the practice of preventing drones from flying over airports, wildfires, and the White House. Quantum engineers have successfully constructed a Schrödinger's cat within a silicon chip. Physicists have introduced the concept of paraparticles, which are unusual entities that resist conventional classification. The growing application of AI is associated with a decline in critical thinking abilities. Aquifer with a volume half that of Lake Tahoe discovered beneath the Central Oregon Cascades. Kazakhstan raises the water levels in the North Aral Sea by 42%. Chemicals in sewage sludge fertilizer used on farms may pose a cancer risk, according to the EPA. Microsoft has established a new AI engineering team with a former Meta executive at the helm. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg has expressed that AI might soon handle the tasks of Meta's mid-level engineers. Additionally, Adobe's Firefly feature, known as Bulk Create, enables users to modify thousands of images simultaneously. TikTok labels a claim that China is considering selling the app to Elon Musk as pure fiction. Bloomberg mentioned that China is discussing the sale of TikTok's U.S. operations to Musk as a potential option. Meanwhile, Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note, which is China's equivalent to Instagram, has reached the top position on the App Store as TikTok confronts the possibility of a U.S. shutdown. Additionally, TikTok is making arrangements for a swift closure in the United States on Sunday.
Supreme Court to consider laws in Texas and 18 other states mandating age verification for online access to adult content. SEC files a lawsuit against Elon Musk, accusing him of inadequate disclosure of Twitter ownership, with claims that Musk profited over $150 million by postponing the disclosure of his Twitter stake. FDA suggests a requirement for at-a-glance nutrition information to be displayed prominently on the front of packaged foods. Wall Street Journal highlights that children are increasingly using a mental health chatbot to express their anxieties. NVIDIA collaborates with Illumina and Mayo Clinic to advance its health initiatives. OpenAI discreetly updates its policy document to eliminate the mention of politically unbiased AI.
Queen Elizabeth II was unaware of the Soviet spy present in her palace, as revealed by declassified MI5 documents. South Korea's impeached President Yoon has been taken into custody following a significant law enforcement operation. A Davos survey identifies conflict, extreme weather, and disinformation as the leading global risks for 2025.
EU evaluates its investigations into Apple, Google, and Meta's technology practices. UK regulatory authority declares Google holds strategic market status and initiates an inquiry into its search dominance. Venezuela removes the ban on Telegram, yet internet restrictions persist. Tether, a stablecoin issuer, plans to set up its headquarters in El Salvador and move some of its operations there. Meanwhile, in the United States, the CFTC is examining Crypto.com's Super Bowl contracts and is looking to temporarily halt them. Additionally, Hui1, the organization responsible for the biggest illicit online marketplace, has introduced a stablecoin. Sony introduces the Sonium mainnet, enhancing Ethereum Layer 2 for entertainment purposes. The Telegram-associated TON blockchain is set to grow in the U.S. as Trump shows interest in cryptocurrency. Vanguard's CEO argues that Bitcoin ETFs should not be part of a long-term investment portfolio.
Meta plans to reduce its workforce by approximately 5%, focusing on the least performing employees. Klarna has secured a worldwide payment agreement with Stripe to broaden its market presence in anticipation of a major U.S. IPO. Indian IT outsourcing companies are hoping for a boost from Trump to improve their prospects.
My From Fatal Fury is now part of Street Fighter VI. The recent update for Marvel Rivals has turned off mod functionality. Diamond Comics, the leading distributor in the industry, has declared bankruptcy. Over the last 2 decades, the U.S. has imported billions of wild animals.
Trump announces intention to establish an external revenue service for gathering income from international entities. Spain's proposal to impose a 100% tax on property purchases by non-EU citizens faces significant challenges in parliamentary approval. Iraq's prime minister indicates willingness to sign a security agreement with the United Kingdom.
U.S. alleges Capital One deceived savings account holders, depriving them of $2 billion in interest. North Korea allegedly conducted over $659 million in cryptocurrency heists in 2024, using fake job seekers. Falcon 9 successfully launches commercial lunar landers from the United States and Japan.
Israel's Genesis Prize has been awarded to Argentinian President Javier Milei, the winner of the 2025 Jewish Nobel Prize. Meanwhile, Blinken has stated that new Hamas recruits have nearly compensated for the losses incurred during the war. Additionally, Saudi Arabia is hosting an Arab international meeting on Syria, where ministers from 17 countries are convening to discuss expediting aid to Damascus. Saudi Arabia is advocating for the relief of Syria sanctions during these talks with regional and EU diplomats, as well as EU foreign ministers, who are expected to address the issue at the end of the month. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State nominee, to argue that China cheated and hacked its way to global superpower status at hearing. Biden relaxes restrictions on Cuba ahead of Trump inauguration, and Cuba to free over 550 prisoners after removal from U.S. terror list. NATO launches new naval operation in Baltic Sea after severing of cables. U.S. deaths likely to surpass births in the next 10 years. Activating the hypothalamus helps paralyzed patients regain walking. The U.S. House approves a bill restricting trans women's involvement in sports. Starbucks changes its open-door policy, now mandating a purchase for those wishing to remain. Intel plans to separate its venture capital division as part of ongoing restructuring efforts. Apple becomes part of the Neuralink group aiming to challenge NVIDIA's leadership in AI hardware.
In the United States, Representative Roy has put forth a bill once more aimed at stopping members of Congress from engaging in stock trading. Meanwhile, Robinhood's broker-dealers are set to pay a total of $45 million in penalties for breaching certain provisions of securities law. Additionally, IKEA's investment division plans to allocate €1 billion to companies focused on recycling.
Harris does not extend an invitation to Vance for a courtesy visit to the vice president's residence prior to the inauguration. Iran's president informs NBC News that Iran never planned to assassinate Trump during the campaign. Speaker Johnson directs that Capitol Hill flags be raised in anticipation of Trump inauguration.
The United States has completed a rule prohibiting smart cars equipped with technology from Russia and China. Additionally, data from an association indicates that China's vehicle export growth is anticipated to decelerate in 2025. Meanwhile, oil prices have risen by 2% to reach a 4-month high, with sanctions expected to interfere with Russian supplies. Furthermore, Alberta's premier has issued a warning that Trump's tariffs are imminent and will encompass oil. China's electric car boom is projected to slow down in 2025.